An empty Times Square in New York City as the city scrambled to contain the coronavirus pandemic. Several states ordered restrictions on businesses, including restaurants, and closed schools, while the federal government pushed back on rumors of a national lockdown. However, U.S. President Donald Trump gave more rigorous guidelines for the next 15 days.
My administration is recommending that all Americans, including the young and healthy, work to engage in schooling from home when possible, avoid gathering in groups of more than 10 people, avoid discretionary travel, and avoid eating and drinking at bars, restaurants, and public food courts.
Trump has been criticized for his handling of the crisis, including prematurely touting a Google website that he said would help people determine whether they needed a coronavirus test. But as cases spike up, he has taken a more somber tone and acknowledged it could be July or August before the outbreak is under control.
He seems to be admitting that there is actually a crisis, that it's not going to be a short-term crisis, and that it is in fact going to come with a lot of challenges. I thought today's statement was the most dramatic and the most filled with the most acknowledgement of those realities that everyone else around him has been talking about.
Health experts are applauding the tougher guidelines.
I think people can see that, okay, for 15 days, we can do this. Then if there are positive effects, which there should be, this should help slow things some, then it will be a good time then to reassess and determine, do we extend this? How do we deal with the next phase? But I thought overall that it was a very well thought out plan for slowing the virus and for really focusing our efforts.
The U.S. is a federation, and it's mostly up to states to determine containment measures.
In the United States, healthcare, like education, often is going to come down to where you live and who's in charge of that area, whether it's a state department of health or a school district. These kind of practices in the United States typically are in local hands.
States that have not yet experienced community spread have been slower to act. Despite a national emergency declared last week, thousands still flock to Florida's coastline in Miami Beach.
Hey, let's go to the beach for a week while everybody gets quarantined. They're going to be all pasty white and we're going to be nice and tan.
The administration has also implemented protective measures, including taking the temperature of anyone entering the White House. Meanwhile, the White House Correspondents Association called on all members to work remotely as much as possible and to keep minimum staffing at the White House, including during press briefings. Patsy Vida Huswara, VOA News.